Just a really quick question. Have you ever been thinking that you spent way too much time on a joke? Well, welcome to the club. I'm only about 3.5 months late with this joke, so let's get started before it's too late. So if there is a single person who missed it, Markiplier back in February made this video, the Smash or Pass challenge with all the Pokemon. So what it basically means is he's going through all the Pokemon and he's like saying which ones he would take on a date, let's just put it that. And then people made all sorts of parodies and they made their own versions of this video. Then came the legend himself, MatPat, with the game theory, and they analyzed all the answers that he made in this video, and they like went on a mission to find the best Pokemon for Markiplier, and it turned out that based on his answers there was not one single best Pokemon for him, so they ended up creating one. So they commissioned an artist to create this design of Markiplier's perfect Pokemon, and I decided that I want to create my own version of this Pokemon. They came up with a list of the attributes of this Pokemon. I collected these from through the video, so it should be like a rather small feminine character with like claws, possibly a mammal bird or a bug but humanoid, etc. Like a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to put it over here for myself, and I'm going to give a go to this design. Okay, so we have all the attributes here, and also I've been thinking about what sort of a creature I would like to make, and it's going to be like a humanoid bug, pretty much. First I'm going to actually create a little 2D sketch, longer limbs than usual. This could even be Slenderman at this point. So it's going to have insect wings, like 2 pairs of wings. Hey, this is me from the editing room, which is the same room, just I'm editing right now. My original idea for this part of the video was to make a full long commentary session when I'm designing the whole character, and there was a problem with that. I recorded about 1 hour and 40 minutes worth of footage, and when I was trying to edit it down, I was facing the consequences of my previous actions and realized that it doesn't work. It's not interesting, it's not informative, and it's not fun, so I ended up cutting it all out. Just talking about the end result, my design for Markiplier's perfect Pokemon is a psychic, humanoid, bug-type Pokemon. Something that really resembles a fairy, but it would be much bigger than that, like a human-sized creature with a lot of bug-like features. Now you can see a really complex wing design that I ended up toning down later. It was just unnecessarily complicated and it would have made the whole picture much harder and the whole end result much worse. So I changed them to much more insectoid-like wings. I made the head of the Pokemon resemble a diadem for the more royal look that also fits Markiplier, and then I simply kept the face bug-like and rounded, and it actually got changed quite a lot later, but for now it's like almost this alien face, something not so inviting. Another important parts of the design were the arms that reached to the Pokemon's knees, heavily inspired by the Shy Guy from the SCP Foundation. Also, instead of a dress, I decided to wrap a giant leaf around the creature's body. And as I was progressing, there came a problem that this character looked way too stiff and this pose looked very uninteresting, so I went ahead and started modifying it, but then the whole thing started to just fall apart and I had to step away from it for a little bit to figure out what exactly I wanted to do with this creature. Okay, so here's a progress update for you. This was the stage when I said that I'm going to sleep on it once, and ended up sleeping on it actually 14 times. So let's get back into it. I already worked ahead, but I'm not going to show you yet. There are 2 things that I want to mention. The first one is that I decided that this has to go like this version of the painting is not working. It's just broken at many points. At this point I feel like that this even worked better, and the newer version was just squishing all the parts of this character and it ended up looking much worse. So I was thinking to go back to this stage and work from this now. Then I realized that if I want to turn this into something, then I'll have to restart it. So that's what I'm going to do. But first I want to show you something else. I even forgot to mention that after Game Theory made this video about Markiplier's favorite Pokemon, Mark decided to say pass on this design. And I already knew that by the time I started my painting, so that's why I didn't go with a mammal, I went with a bug. Then literally a few days later the Game Theory uploaded a new video and they decided to redesign Markiplier's Pokemon, and they decided to go with a bird type Pokemon instead of a mammal. So I'm still in the good place with choosing a bug type. And then they created this design for Markiplier's favorite, and you know, this is way different from what I started, so that's a good thing. And even more so, Mark did a reply once again and he decided to pass on this design, the bird type design. And then later Matt created this Pokemon in Photoshop just as a joke for Mark that this is going to be his favorite. And guess what happened? Markiplier did this with the design. He slapped that bird head on top of it and said smash to this design. So I was kind of defeated, but let's not give it up and give another go and create a Pokemon that is even better than this one. I destroyed almost the entire picture to start it over, but it was totally worth it because the new pose ended up being much better than the original. It feels much more like an artwork and not like some pictogram. Once I heard that every artist needs to learn one thing, preferably sooner than later, and this thing is that garbage belongs to the garbage, and sometimes you have to throw out something in order to make something better. And you know, this is what happens. This is what happens when I'm not just trying to modify my original picture and just bend the limbs of the character in order to create a more interesting pose, but if I just sit down and spend half of that time with sketching out a new one, then it has the potential of being much better. In the end, most of the character remained the same. The one that I modified the most was the head, and especially the face. I ended up refining it many times, and then I settled down with a much more human face with regular looking eyes, not like vertically long eyes and not with these crazy face proportions. It just looked too alien and not attractive at all. Also, I later added hair to the picture and I decided to go with dreadlocks just to make the design a little more interesting. And also, dreadlocks are a little bit easier to paint than regular hair, but please don't tell anyone. What was that? Oh, sorry, I must have misheard it. It must have been the wind. Okay, where was I? Oh yes, the final picture. And now I'm proudly presenting to you Markiplier's new perfect Pokemon. Copyrighted Pokeball opening sound effect. Now we're talking. Mark, if you're seeing this, be my guest and say smash to my Pokemon design, which is now your new Pokemon design, your perfect Pokemon. Just look at those eyes, isn't it perfection? Anything you could have ever wished for and even more than that. Not one of these cats or birds or whatever. I know that in the bottom of your heart you are really wanting a proper bug lady who can charm you with her psychic abilities. And please tell me that I didn't just waste 20 hours on this video. And either way, thank you very much for watching, and as always, have a nice day, do some art even if it involves painting some purple Pokemon lady, especially if it involves painting some purple Pokemon lady, and have fun while doing that, and farewell. I should have